to you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a special live edition of the Takedown Podcast. My name is Mike Larkin, joined as always by my boy RC, Mr. Roy Costin. Roy, today is a very special day here on the Takedown Podcast. So if you guys did listen to our last episode, which you should, go back and listen to all of our past episodes. You heard us talk about NXT Heatwave. Well, today we're going to be predicting AEW All-In predictions because 2 shows in one day, as well as AAA at noon. It is a hell of a weekend for professional wrestling. But today we're going to be predicting AEW All-In with its 9 matches, which I'm sure by tonight we're going to have about 5 or 6 more, knowing what Tony Khan likes to produce. Roy, I figure we hop right into it because while we did predict all 5 matches on NXT Heatwave, we did have a little extra. Somebody added to one match, so I figure we get into this. Last night, we had a great promo exchange with Jada Parker and Natalya. I think this is going to be the payoff. As we now know, it is a submission match, and Jada Parker does not have a submission. And there's a part of me, since it is Texas, I could see her beating Natty with the Texas Cloverleaf, and finally, Jada Parker getting her win. What say you, and what do you think about the match that has now been announced for NXT Heatwave, the submission match?
That's a really good call on that one. I didn't even think about that. I like that they did add this match just because Jada's been doing a lot of really good work in NXT, and just like with Kalani and Lola Vice, she's one of those ones that I feel is on the verge of going to the main roster. We even saw the Lola Vice vignette on Raw. So I'm wondering if this is going to be kind of the final match in NXT for Jada. But like you said, she doesn't really have a submission. So this could be a way of introducing a new element to her character. Maybe have her stick around for a few more months and then get caught up, around the Rumble or something like that. Either way, I'm thinking that you might be right with Jada winning this match and debuting a new submission. That way it's, hey, she's here now. She's the total package. She's good on the microphone. She's good in the ring. The only thing she was really lacking was submission work, and she's used this match to prove that she has that acclimate as well. So, yeah, I'll stick with you. I think Jada's probably going to win this one.
And I mean, what better match since when you think of the Hart family submission match, the classic Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin submission match from WrestleMania 13. So I think we're definitely going to see something special here. And the low-key legend is definitely going to elevate Miss Parker. And the other thing that we saw on NXT was Callie Armstrong beat Zarya. And now Callie Armstrong is going to be inserted into the unification match for the Women's Speed Championship, as well as the NXT Women's North American Championship with Zarya and Ren Sinclair. And I know we're going hometown girl with Ren Sinclair. I still think Zarya, but there's a part of me, like Callie Armstrong is an interesting shout too, because Callie Armstrong and Kendall Gray had amazing matches in Evolve. They put her as one of the top front talents in Evolve. So I think with what we're seeing in NXT, she's just going to prove herself and show up and show out. And Callie Armstrong has really started to come into her own, relatively new. But I got to tell you, I think she's definitely going to shine in this, but I think it is very much too soon for her to win that NXT Women's North American Championship, Speed Championship unification. So there's still a part of me that goes with Zarya, but I would love to see Ren Sinclair. What do you think about Callie Armstrong being added to the match?
Having her in the match was a bold choice because I think a lot of people were already kind of looking forward to Zarya and Ren. Adding Callie into this match, I didn't even think about the correlation with, the Kendall Gray match. And it's kind of got me thinking maybe Callie Armstrong does win this. She gets added. She just beat Zarya last night. So there could be a big possibility that Callie wins this. And then we kind of have a stare down after the match of, Callie and Kendall staring each other down, and now it's winner take all kind of thing for their second match. So I'm actually leaning more towards Kelly Armstrong winning this one now.
And I don't hate that because we get to see some highlight packages of their feud and Evolve. And I think nonetheless, top down and down, up, down, if you will. I sound like up, down, down, Xavier Woods. One of the things I will say about that is when it comes to this card, it's going to be solid action from top to bottom. I do have one question about NXT. Your boy talking about the Miss. We're going to get Nuraku and Shiloh Hill next week. I'm looking forward to it. But, man, he broke down the concentration of the Mist.
Yeah, he's broken down the concentration of the Mist. He has also ordered a bunch of different chemicals and mist online, and he has a whole box of them sitting in his warehouse with the Beast, which is his AI robot that he has. And he is breaking down the chemical compounds of each of the mist and seeing which ones do what, and I think he's trying to find a counter for the mist. So what better way to counter the mist than with fog?
The fog is coming. The fog is coming. I gotta tell you something. He's quirky.
He's so great, man.
He has come a long way within LFG to where he is now. And I got to tell you somebody else who has come a long way since LFG. If y'all are not checking out AAA and Drake Moreau with his new character, I'm loving that with what they're doing with him and the Psycho Clowns. My God, like he has something there with the Psycho Circus.
The only thing that I don't like is people have automatically went to, Luchasaurus needs to sue for copyright.
Luchasaurus off of Temu, I saw that.
Like, I don't understand that. Just because he's wearing a mask and has a beard, he's automatically labeled as Temu Luchasaurus, when that's not even his character. He's the Butcher.
He's the Butcher.
Like, it's such a good name. I can't remember how it's pronounced in Spanish. What I don't even want to say anything
because I might mess it up too. But no, it translates to the Butcher, which
yeah. The translation is the Butcher, and it sounds really cool in Spanish. I like the idea of it. It kind of reminds me of, Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets Mankind. And I really dig that. And I dig the fact that, he has picked someone that he's going after, and he is coming after them as a friggin' horror monster. It's kind of awesome, I would love to see this translate into main roster or NXT or something like that down the line once he gets some footing as this new character. But yeah, I'm digging it, man. I really am.
Well, you see where he was in Evolve, and he was just happy to be there, the guy that was dancing from the bayou, and now he's this monster that's just ready to absolutely obliterate and eviscerate everybody and obliterate them. One of the things that I love about that, man, is Undertaker knows how to book these people. Like, his booking style is just so awesome. And I say this to anybody. If you're watching AAA, watch it on Saturday night. It's only an hour on the WWE YouTube or whenever you get the chance. I mean, the bout that they have coming up at noon on Sunday, main evented by Perros del Mal against Penta, Phoenix, and Dragon Lee. That's going to be something definitely worth seeing. I mean, they've really built up this card to feel important. You got Damian Priest going for the Latin American Championship. You have a lot of great matches on the AAA card. Like, for that to start at noon, and also the Texas crowd gets something really special.
Yeah, absolutely. You have, like you said, all of these great competitors, and they really have been doing a fantastic job with booking the show. They utilize the entirety of the hour that they have for the show. They it's very reminiscent of NXT in the sense of you've got one thing that leads into the next that leads into the next, but it's also very, it's still at its heart a AAA product. Um, I think somebody said whenever WWE bought out AAA that if they were to keep the product the way it is and then just add the production value from WWE, then AAA could be one of the top shows on TV, and that's pretty much what they've done. You know, they've used the WWE production to just enhance what AAA is doing, and then you've got Undertaker and I think Gabe Sapolsky. I think no, is it Gabe or Borash? Borash.
Jeremy Borash.
Yeah, you've got Borash helping out down there. So between the two of them, you have such great minds. Plus, the people that are in AAA, they're used to working their styles anyways. And then you've got the production value that WWE brings in. Um, each week, I'm just looking more and more forward to the Worlds Collide pay-per-view because that's going to be so good. Um, because with NXT, you've got HBK in his booking, and it's been phenomenal. You know, everything under main roster has been absolutely incredible. And main roster, in my opinion, is finally catching up to what NXT, Evolve, AAA, what all of those are doing. So I'm looking forward to what's on the horizon for WWE.
One of the things that I do love also about this card, I mean, you also have La Flamere and this gauntlet match, so there's going to be a lot of luchadoras who we're going to see. Maybe from we can get some from NXT or whomever. That's going to be sweet. But one of the things that I love, right? There's a lot of talent.
No, I just thought about that would be a really cool place to have Bailey come back.
Right?
In Texas. In the gauntlet.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be cool. Okay, sorry. Continue.
You're totally fine, man. You're totally fine. I was going to say, with that influx, you have so much talent you can put in there, and it's absolutely going to be sweet. Speaking of sweet, I do have to switch to the TNA side. First of all, congratulations to Leon Slater, and we're going to get Nick Nemeth and Leon Slater at Bound for Glory. Your thoughts on that main event?
Yeah, man. I can't believe that, you know, with Leon going to AEW, they wiped the record clean. Just like everybody thought was going to happen. That's insane, man. Instead, now he holds the longest and the shortest title reign with the X Division title, which is awesome. Good for him. I love the fact that he did enact his option C that night. He was just like, hey, man, look, I want it. I've already proven what I can do. I want that title, and I think Namath and Slater are going to put on a really, really good match. Namath, ever since, you know, in WWE as Dolph Ziggler, he was always looked at as, you know, oh man, he deserves better. He deserves so much more. He should be a 5-time champion. He should be this. He should do that. He is such a good asset in the ring, and even if Slater doesn't win, this will probably be up there as one of Slater's most viewed and probably most praised matches in his career so far.
I think what him and Cedric did, I mean, Cedric, from what we've seen on 205 Live, I still remember that match with him and Buddy Murphy and everybody that he got a chance to wrestle, even Kalisto back in the day. I think having someone like Leon go against Dolph, it's not going to be anything like the Chris Sabin title run from 2013. I think if he does win the title, he'll get a nice little lengthy thing, but even if he doesn't, I think he's going to look great in defeat. And Nick Nemeth is just that guy. I remember the last championship that he won in WWE was the NXT championship, and he worked with Braun Breaker very well. And speaking of people that worked very well, I got to tell you something. Mustafa Ali and Jason Hotch, that dive off the cage, both of those guys are insane. We also saw Elena Black get busted open with Zaya Brookside. Like the Hardys losing to the Nemeths for the tag titles, these are just some of the highlights. And I say this to anybody. Again, check out TNA Lockdown. Very much a solid show from top to bottom. Definitely highlighted a lot of these great athletes. One thing I do have to mention, since speedy recovery to the Hive Mother, Miss Rosemary herself, Allie needed a tag partner, and the continuity absolutely makes sense. Someone who saw her literally die, pun intended, in the undead realm. Someone who has been stuck in the undead realm herself. The girl on fire, Kiera Hogan, is back. Tag champs beating the Elegance brand. Your thoughts on Kiera Hogan re-signing?
I thought it was great, man. It's good to see Kiera Hogan back in the ring. Like you said, the story was there, so there wasn't too much, oh, why is she teaming and why is she doing this? No, the story's there. Um, I'm glad that it wasn't just she came in to help lose the title with Allie. I think that would have been kind of a sour note to a lot of people. So yeah, I feel like Rosemary probably did, give her blessing and being like, hey, look, I'm going to be out for a while. She's such a great asset. Then yeah, go ahead. Like, if y'all can put the title with her and let them roll with it for a while. Uh, I look forward to seeing how much they progress from this. Like, I want to see. I definitely want to see them take on more challengers. Maybe reignite that NXT partnership and bring in some of the ladies from NXT to challenge for the titles.
Give me some Kiera Hogan and give me some Kiera Hogan, Kalani Jordan. Give me Kiera Hogan and anybody on that roster. I think we definitely have something there. I've always liked Kiera Hogan, even in her first run in TNA, because I always thought, this is a woman who was trained by Mr. Hughes, Curtis Hughes, if you will, and she definitely has something there, but also just letting her just tap into that now, and especially
Don't worry, guys. He'll be right back. Just give him a second. It happens.
and
There
her
he
tag
is. See, I
and her
told you he'd be right back.
Yeah, and her tag team with Tasha Steelz is awesome. Internet, folks. It happens. Look at me rocking out. I'm on the video. Not really, though. I was down, but I am with the system. Anyway, I digress. One of the things I will say about this, it's live. We'll do it live, pal. The other thing we have to mention as far as the signing goes, as far as TNA goes, we have to touch upon the fact that Avery Styles is now signed to TNA. Shocker? No. Because when you think about it, X Division, Tag Team Championships, World Heavyweight Championships. He's following in the footsteps of his father. And I got to tell you something. Kazarian would be a great feud. We saw their little exchange there. Your thoughts on Avery Styles signing with TNA?
I'm going to start with a funny thing that I saw online.
Hit me.
Somebody said that what he should have done is come out there with a steel chair, set it up on the stage, and sat down and signed the contract. That way he finally did set up a chair. People are ridiculous, man. Like, people are absolutely ridiculous. I tweeted this out from the Twitter and everything, that when Brian Pillman Jr. decided to change his name to Lexus King, everybody was jumping down his throat about, why wouldn't you keep the name? Why wouldn't you do this? Why not honor your dad's legacy? Yada, yada, yada. Avery Styles, he's got his dad's look, he's got his dad's theme music, he's got all of his dad's signature stuff, and everybody's like, oh, like, here we go, another Nepo baby, blah, blah, blah. Make up your mind, guys. Do you want them to keep and honor their family, or do you want them to be their own person? You can't have both. I think Avery's going to do great, man. I really do. Just in the few matches and highlights and stuff that I've seen posted about him online, he looks like he is a solid worker. And he grew up around the business. So him having this team slash mentorship slash feud with Kazarian is going to be really good. It's going to help him jump right into a prime spot in TNA. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the conversation about Avery Styles is at like Slammiversary. Or if they do Lockdown again next year, at Lockdown next year. Give it 6 months, give it a year, and I want to see what the conversation is about Avery at that point. Because as of right now, I think he's going to do fine. And I could definitely see him, especially with the newly vacated X Division title, I could see him sliding in and being a part of that title scene.
I think so as well. And I mean, if I'm personally of the stance of if we get AJ Styles to make an appearance on TNA, I mean, he produced Tony D and Nuraku. He's doing stuff behind the scenes with NXT. I'm all for it just to have the interaction with him and Kazarian again. So I think for me, there's a lot that they can do here, but it's how you execute it. And that's the main thing. And I mean, speaking of execution, the other thing I want to mention very briefly about NXT is the fact that we did get the finale in the feud between Saquon Sugars and Dion Lennox in the weaponized steel cage match. That poor table just broke. Friggin' poor Dion Lennox was sitting on their table, broke. Then it just didn't fall. They were having some malfunction at the junction with that table. So Saquon said, you know what? Forget this. I'm just going to do a crossbody off the top rope, and I'm going to get my win. Still very cool visual. And your thoughts on the weaponized cage match and Saquon taking the W to end this feud?
I'm glad Saquon won, just because this does make it feel better, and it makes it a smart decision in the sense of it was a one-on-one match, and Dion Lennox is more of a group guy. He's a tag team guy. So it makes sense for Saquon to win because, like, hey, we're finally finished. You go back to Dark State, and maybe they kick him out now, and he has to feud with the other two, or whatever the case is. But now we can kind of get Sugars into a title feud. Coming out of Heatwave, we might have a new North American champion. We might have a new world champion. So they're going to need challengers. And I think Sugars is a really good guy to have in that as a challenger to set up for a title win in a couple of months. That way we've kind of got this whole, okay, you go out of this feud, you drop into this feud. During this feud, you might get a title. Then we start a new feud. So I'm hoping that it does put him into a title picture. As far as Lennox goes, I'm hoping what they do is they keep Dark State around. I like Dark State. I really do. I like the factions. I've always been a big faction guy. I really like factions. Maybe they realize that they can't do it with just the three of them. So maybe they have to find somebody to fill in for a fourth. Or maybe they have to find a tag team to make them a 5-person faction. Who knows? But I'm hoping that a story progresses from this loss, not just for Sugars, but for Lennox as well.
I think one of the greatest things about that too is the fact that you also have Cutler James doing Evolve, which doesn't shock me because he gets more reps in, and also the fact that his boo thing, that being Adriana Rizzo, is on that show as an interviewer now, so that's pretty cool. He gets to be with his boo, but also at the same time too, it definitely keeps the reps up for these guys and it gives them more time to work and hone their craft. And I think depending on which direction they go, it definitely has a lot of possibilities. And speaking of possibilities, that leads us to Monday Night Raw, where we saw in the tape version of AAA, Pentagon beat Bronco Nima, and Bronco lost, and he got kicked out of Paris del Mal. Well, here's what happened on Raw. So first of all, we saw the Usos against LA Knight, and Solo Sikoa, a.k.a. Neo, the new Matrix. This your warning shot, bang! And the fact that, pew pew, I want to get that t-shirt now, warning shot, pew pew pew. I laughed my butt off at that. And literally the fact that he's doing the Matrix, and then Jey Uso goes, and Jey Uso's trying so hard not to break, and he goes, I know you're not doing the damn Matrix right now. I love that segment. I got to tell you something, LA Knight and Solo Sikoa is the tag team that I didn't know I needed.
Yeah. It is, they are playing off of each other very, very well. And I could definitely see them down the line sticking as a tag team and possibly winning tag gold. It's one of those things, and I'm sure we're going to get into it later because you had already mentioned, the AAA tie-in with Bronco and everything like that. But I could definitely see them winning the titles sometime after like Survivor Series, because I kind of have a theory on what's going to happen for Survivor Series. So yeah,
I feel you completely on that, Roy. And I think one of the things I definitely have to mention about that with the theories that you have, let's mention this theory. I got to tell you something. What is it with everybody trying to break? The fact that we had Sol Ruka, Io Sky, and Lyra Valkyria, Io's facials talking about how she's crazy makes me laugh every time. Much like Roy said, Lola Vice debuting in Mexico makes perfect sense for the Raw roster. But also at the same time, too, you got Oba calling Braun a you angry orange man. And I'm like, can we not try to make this man break every week? But I love it just the same. And then Austin Theory gets yoinked right into the friggin' contract table on the friggin' side there. And I like Oba and Braun. Give me it for Sunday night's main event. I laughed my butt off at that segment.
yeah. Every week, man, Oba just gets better and better. The fact that he called out the spray tan that everybody has been calling out for like the past year now is so great. Oba is Oba. I don't even know what to say, man. There's nothing more I can say about Oba that I've already said thousands of times before. He is the top guy, and he is the guy that if you're able to push him off of his pedestal, then you're going to be in good standing. He's so good at what he does, and he's proving that he is an all-around wrestler. He can wrestle, he can do mic stuff, he can be serious, he can have fun, he can joke around. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but even at one of the live events, he done his pose, and then Danhausen crawled up under his legs and did the pose too. Like, they're having fun, and I think that this is definitely going to play into Bronson Reed's return, I believe. If not here, if not during this match, then there is a small possibility that Bronson Reed's return might take place in the Cody Randy match. But yeah.
I mean, they had a great promo in its own right on SmackDown, and I think the fact that you definitely are setting up something there where Randy wins and then it leads to another big match for them. Like, Cody and Randy definitely has a lot of possibilities, and we say that a lot, but it's really about the story progression and where they go with it. Because like we said last time, this is what the WrestleMania build should have been, minus the Pat McAfee involvement, but we're getting that now. And I think one of the things that I also have to point out here is, like you mentioned, we also had CM Punk beat Kevin Owens, and now it looks like we're going back to Kevin and Sammy, which was Kevin's last feud before the neck surgery. Are you looking forward to Kevin and Sammy part 10 million? But I say that, but I also kid, because these are the guys that are like, we're destined to do this forever, whether they're a tag team or whether they're going against each other. I mean, look at it like this. Both of these guys debuted on the main roster around the same time a mere 10 years ago. They've both had different trajectories of their past. What are your thoughts on this 10 years later? We're having another feud with Kevin and Sam.
I mean, they're best friends. It's going to happen. I don't think they've ever had a bad match.
No.
So I'll watch it. I mean, if they want to do a 30-minute match, I'll watch it. If they want to just go out there and do like a 5-minute sprint, I'll watch it. It's going to be good regardless. Without getting too much into spoilers, because I know they've already taped SmackDown for this Friday. Without getting too much into spoilers, I would like to say that I think one of my predictions is coming true.
Mm-hmm.
With all of the people that might be facing CM Punk down the road. Very excited about that. And I think there's going to be the feud between Sammy and KO is going to be an ongoing feud until the time they retire. And I think that everyone is okay with that.
I think it's one of the things for me too. And like you talk about that main event scene and that main event picture. I did like the CM Punk Randy Orton interaction where he's like, after I'm done with Cody, I'm coming for you. The story writes itself. Last time these guys wrestled, what was WrestleMania 27, 2011? That was when he was a part of the New Nexus. And I mean, even take it back further to 2008 when he punted CM Punk at that Unforgiven and he took him out of the Scramble. Like, stuff like that, you build off of stuff. And I mean, these guys are completely different where they were a mere 15 years later, but god dang it, there's a story that could be told there.
Yeah, there is. I don't necessarily need to have Orton in the title picture, but I wouldn't mind that being a one and done match. There are plenty of other guys that can be in the title picture where we don't need Cody in there. We don't need Randy in there. We don't, even on the Raw side, we don't need Roman in the title picture, even though he's the champion right now. We don't necessarily need Seth in the title picture. There are so many guys that are deserving of at least just being in the title picture, let alone holding the title itself. So I'd like to see a little bit of a shake-up. And as far as Randy and Punk goes, I wouldn't mind seeing that as a main event on, one of the pay-per-views or whatever coming up, but let it be a one and done. We don't need them to have a 3-match feud or, a month-long feud or anything like that. It's just, hey, I want the title. Okay, we're going to wrestle at this date. They wrestle. Punk probably wins, and then he just moves on. So I wouldn't mind it.
Don't do the Kofi Kingston Randy Orton feud from 2019. It's pretty much what Roy is saying on that front. And also the fact that I just want to see the CM Punk Randy Orton interaction because it reminds me of Survivor Series 2023 when they both came back in the same night. Like, hey, man, stealing my thunder over here. You know what I'm saying? That funny interaction that they had. But definitely something for down the line. And speaking of something that we're also going to get down the line, I got to ask you, MFTs, the Mofo Tongans over here. It looks like we're definitely going to see them against Shinsuke Nakamura, and we found out, as we already knew, who his tag partner is going to be. Hiromu Takahashi, now Kyoki. First of all, happy to see them, and I'll say this, if you've never seen Takahashi, go back and watch his matches with the Bruv Man and the Super Juniors, watch his match with Dragon Lee. There are a lot of great matches there that he had a lot of stuff to do with in New Japan, dare I say, Los Ingobernables de Japón, and everything that went with that. Very entertaining character. Your thoughts on Hiromu with Shinsuke, a little New Japan vibes for the tag titles, as well as his new name, Kyoki.
I like the whole Kyoki thing just because if my Japanese is a little bit rusty, but I believe it means like madness or chaos or something like that.
Yes.
So I like that. Somebody said, oh my gosh, that would be like if they debuted a Spanish guy and named him Loco. I'm like, well, there was this guy named Super Crazy back in the day, so just saying.
There was a Lieutenant Loco back in WCW.
Yeah. So, I mean, just saying. No, I like the idea of them working together. I would love, and I don't think it'll happen. I really, really don't. But how sick would it be? Because MFTs have Haku.
Mm-hmm.
If like Muda came in and was, their manager or something, just for the time being, for them to go against the MFTs. The only person who could possibly take out Haku is like the Great Muda. Like, that would be so sick, right?
Well, they also have a relationship with Pro Wrestling Noah, so I don't think that's that far of a stretch. If they wanted to think outside the box, absolutely.
Yeah. But other than that, man, I could see this feud lasting a while we build up other tag teams.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe bring in some more tag teams. Start doing stuff with some tag teams. Creed Brothers would like to say hello, I'm sure.
Are they in AAA now? Because I got to tell you, I'd love to see them against the War Raiders.
They are mainly on Main Event right now, as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, have them just have some tag teams. Y'all talked about needing to set up tag teams after firing 5 different tag teams.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and start making some tag teams again then. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm not discrediting War Raiders against Los Americanos at the show on Sunday, but I'm just like, it writes itself, the War Raiders and the Creed Brothers, because both teams are beasts.
Yeah.
Absolute beasts. And I mean, the other thing I will say, I kind of called it, if you will, from Raw. Looks like Chad Gable's next opponent is All Ego Ethan Page. I called it.
Yeah. No, definitely hit the nail on the head with that one.
Well, because if you think of a top heel right now, first of all, and I did like the fact that he's like, well, you tapped out, you got to get back in the line. But I think those two will have great chemistry, and that definitely sets up for a great match between the two because Ethan Page is so highly underrated. I've been a fan of Ethan Page ever since the North with him and Josh Alexander and TNA, because everybody talked about the Lucha Bros and LAX and OVE, which I love all those tag teams, don't get me wrong, but it's like you have something with the North. These two badasses from Canada, Josh Alexander, the walking weapon, they really held their own within the tag team division during their tenure in TNA. And I think the other thing I definitely will mention, I mean, we kind of called it here. What are your thoughts? So I enjoyed Penta and La Parca. I thought that was fun. Ray Phoenix and Dragon Lee went absolutely buck wild. So I got to ask you your thoughts on the Brothers Lucha and the finals, Penta and Phoenix. We've all been calling it, and I think it's going to be Penta and Roman in Mexico. What you think?
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be Penta Roman. I wouldn't be mad if it's Phoenix, just because then it elevates the cruiserweight title for him to be the one to go after Roman. That wouldn't be a bad idea because as we just saw last night, Like, Phoenix put on a banger with EK Prosper too.
Woo!
Oh my gosh, man. Like, I would not be opposed to Ray Phoenix versus Roman and having Ray Phoenix come out in Mexico with that AAA Cruiserweight Championship to face off with Roman, and then putting on an absolute amazing match with Roman. I think whether it is Phoenix or Penta, it is going to... The match with Roman is going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting because of the styles clash, no pun intended on that. But there's you have this slow, methodical, beat down with Roman, and with Penta and Phoenix, I guarantee you that match, because that's next week, right?
Yes, it's Penta and Phoenix.
Yes. So Penta and Phoenix next week, if they go for, let's say, 10 minutes, if they just have a 10-minute match, they're going to go from bell to bell that entire 10 minutes. Now, with a Roman match, you're going to go for 30, but there's going to be a lot of pausing in between. So I think either one of them, it's going to make for a strange bedfellows kind of match with Roman. But I think I'm looking more forward to Penta and Phoenix next week. And then hearing the roof blow off of the place in Mexico for either of the brothers going up against Roman.
You have me now kind of way set in a way for Ray Phoenix just because of the appeal of him coming out with the Cruiserweight title for AAA. And the match, if you guys have not watched Ray Phoenix and EK Prosper is like the new NXT version of Javon Evans. That moonsault is absolutely out of this world.
Good.
Yes, I think Penta and him, either or will be cool, but I think just because of the aura, I think they might just go with Penta. Either way, the match is going to bang, but it's one of those things, too, where the fact that we're finally getting a Lucha Bros match in WWE, if you guys have not seen their feud in Lucha Underground, it was fire. The Lucha Brothers as a tag team, absolutely doing wonders. And speaking of doing wonders, a lot of people were very critical because it kind of just came out of nowhere, but in a way I kind of understand it because as Michael Cole emphasized on there, Oakland, he knows them from the hood, and they came from the streets, out the mud, OTM. So we saw Royce Keys come out during LA Knight and Solo against the Usos, tackles them right through the barricade. Then we see it's Royce Keys. We see OTM in the ring, Lucian Price and Bronco Nima, absolutely mollywopping everybody. We have the new trio of Powerhouse Hobbs and OTM. What are your thoughts on OTM kind of? It's so funny because we were talking about this with NXT. They were starting like a feud with Birthright, which we saw Birthright get the win last night in a great 8-man tag. But we were starting to get like a sense of them versus Birthright. Lucian Price kind of wanting to go on his own. We kind of saw a little tease of, hey, is Bronco with Perez Del Mal, or is he going to be with his brother Lucian? So there were like many different teases, but now they are with Royce Keys. Royce Keys is now a heel. One of the theories I will put into your head as well as we're kind of blending and meshing this together, Roy, I saw a lot of people are saying, what if it's Jacob that turns on the bloodline and he is the leader of this group with Royce Keys? And it's been a whole thing, so he could come out and be the leader of this group. What are your thoughts on Royce Keys and OTM and the possible theory of Jacob turning and he's the leader of this 4-man team?
So I hadn't heard the Jacob theory. That's actually pretty good. I like that idea just because there is the history that they've already established in WWE between Jacob and Keys, so it would kind of make a little bit of sense. I dig Royce Keys with OTM. Like, holy hell, they are such a good force. This goes to what I was possibly theorizing for Survivor Series. Instead of a 5 versus 5 War Games match, what if we get a 3v3v3 where it's Bloodline, but it's the Usos and Jacob, against OTM and Keys against Solo, Knight, and possibly Penta, because Penta has, previous history. Plus, you're going to put him up against, if he wins against Phoenix,
Mm-hmm.
then he's going to have a reason to go after the bloodline, because you already know there's going to be some stuff going on with that if if he's facing Roman. So, a team of Penta, Knight, and Solo against the Usos and Jacob against OTM and Keys. I wouldn't mind that at all. That would be pretty cool. And then at the end, playing into your theory, is the end is OTM and Keys wins because it's revealed Jacob was behind all of it. So,
I mean, even if you talk about the interference of Roman and Penta, how about the fact that, he did turn down Paris Del Mal, so maybe we'll see Daga and Alberto. Oh, I almost said Alberto. God forgive me. Angel and Umberto in there as well. So Angel, Berto, and Daga. I mean, there's something there too. So you have the AAA tie-in mixed with the main roster.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot you can do with it. The more and more I kept seeing that theory of a 3v3v3, the more I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's have that, and let's shake up War Games a little bit to where it's not just the same thing all the time. And I love the idea of War Games, but I also love the idea of there being a reason for War Games. Don't just have it just because we have to have it. Have it because it makes sense. Much like they've started doing with like the Hell in a Cells. Don't have a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Have Hell in a Cell be a part of a pay-per-view because the match calls for that Hell in a Cell match. So I'm hoping that we do get some sort of build up to it. But as far as OTM and Royce Keys together, I know some people are saying that it's giving kind of the Shield vibes and everything, but I think it's just giving, hey, these are three badass guys that hooked up together that are just here to take over, and they don't care. And a lot of people were like, well, what's his problem with LA Knight and Solo? Why did he beat up on them?
Because they teamed at WrestleMania together, or SummerSlam, excuse me. So it's like,
Yeah,
what the hell?
yeah, but I mean, also when Royce needed LA Knight, he was nowhere to be found because he left the building earlier that night, if you remember.
Yep.
And Royce even said something about it on Raw, like, we're not friends. You abandoned me too, so you get this whooping just as much as the bloodline gets it. So,
look, if Austin Powers can be upset that Daddy wasn't there to take him to the fair to change his underwear, it seems he doesn't care. Royce Keys can be mad at LA Knight. It's just only fitting, right? I had to get that Austin Powers reference in there. So the other thing I will say, I have one other note from Raw and one other note from SmackDown. Let's do the other one from Raw, then we'll get to SmackDown, then we'll get to our predictions. From Raw, we also saw Big Cass beat Javon Evans with a big boot. Javon got a lot of offense in this match, and they both went back and forth. Two things I will ask you, and then we had Dominic and JD take out Javon, because Javon literally mollywopped these boys in the back. He threw him and he said, goofy, and that was the most, dare I say, ghetto fabulous vibes I've ever seen in my life, Roy. And I will say this, as someone who lives in the Carolinas, as do you, and Javon Evans is repping Charlotte, that was some of the most gangsta stuff that I've ever seen in my life, and he went straight thug life on him, if you know what I'm saying. So I got to ask you, Mr. Roy Costin, your thoughts on Javon Evans versus Big Cass, the aftermath of Dominic and JD taking him out. And of course, we did see, because everybody's still talking about it, because we mentioned last week with the whole Corey Graves thing, Michael Cole pointed out that, hey, I talked to Big Cass, and he still doesn't know why WWE let him go 8 years ago, and yada, yada, yada. And then Corey Graves just goes, he's pathetic, and he's a coward. And I want to get your thoughts on that whole ordeal.
So first off, with Javon.
Yes.
Showing as much in ring that he did and as much offense during that match, I think was such a great idea because they knew that we knew going into that match he had to lose. You can't have Big Cass come back in just to lose. Uh, so we knew that Javon was going to lose that match. Him taking care of Judgment Day by himself, basically, and everything. I would like for them to start building up to where Javon takes them out and then earns some sort of title shot and everything. That would be really cool. But also, what I'm wondering is, what are they planning on doing with Big Cass now that he has had his match? And I wonder if they're going to listen to the crowd. Because I don't know if you heard, but during the match, there was a lot of like, where's Enzo? We want Enzo and stuff like that. So is Cass going to be able to do this on his own? Or are they going to have to bring in Enzo? And on the flip side with the Corey Graves stuff, I think what they're doing is they're actually going to start playing into it. They're seeing the online chatter, they're seeing all the speculation, and I think WWE is smart enough and savvy enough to be like, hey, play into it. Keep the people talking. It's going to get clicks, it's going to get people talking, it's going to get everybody to figure out what's going on. And if that's the case, we can build off of that. We can have, Corey make a phone call to somebody and be like, hey, I need you to take care of this guy, or whatever the case is. So I say play into it.
I definitely hear you on that. I also have flashbacks to when Corey Graves spilled the beans and got the security footage of Big Cass faking that he got attacked and everything. And it was Enzo. He was the one who attacked Enzo and everything. So I just had flashbacks back to 2017 now that you mentioned that. And the other thing I will say from Smack It Down, Blake Monroe was supposed to face Julia. So I will say this. I think it makes sense for this to be her first feud just because Japan and as well as Stardom, and they have that history. But I got to ask you, wasn't really a match. She just attacked her, hit the neutralizer, walked out. You could tell she wants the women's championship. Your thoughts on Blake Monroe and Julia? And the reason why I bring this into the fold, a lot of people are thinking, man, they're burying Julia. Poor Julia. What are your thoughts?
People throw around the term buried way too much.
Very much so.
There is a difference between being buried and having a story told around your losses. I think that is what this is. This is a story being told around the losses that Julia is taking. Blake Monroe even did a backstage thing where she was talking about, she deserves to have a bigger spectacle put on for her first match on the main roster. She's not just going to wrestle on a random Raw, whatever the case is. I think this might be our women's match that gets put onto the Sunday night main event. If that's the case, I hope that they actually have the match and don't just do another segment where Julia is making her entrance and then gets cut short. I would actually like for it to be the inverse. Is Blake Monroe makes her entrance first, Julia cuts her off, and instead of getting the match thrown out, she throws Blake into the ring and tells the referee, like, go ahead and start the match. Like, she wants this to be her big debut. Okay, fine. She's in the ring, start the match, and then Julia just beats her down for a while. I think that would be fantastic. As far as the whole burial thing, yeah, nobody's getting buried in my opinion. It's just they are taking so long to tell the stories that Triple H wants to tell. And it's good. I like the fact that we have long-term storytelling. But you've got to actually tell the story and not just, hey, here's a 10-page book, but I need you to read it as if it is a 100-page book. So this week you're going to be reading pages 1 through 3. Next week you're reading pages 1 through 3 again. And that's what I feel like we're getting with Triple H's storytelling is it's just the same chapters all the time, and we don't get any progression in the story. So I'm hoping that this is what it's leading to. I feel like both of them will end up being in Money in the Bank together. So we're going to have some good spots coming out of that. But yeah, I think it's going to lead to Sunday night's main event with Julia and Blake Monroe at that.
I gotta tell you, since you did mention Triple H's booking, very repetitive, and he constantly goes through many different chapters. I'm gonna put it to you like this, and I'm gonna make a Boy Meets World reference for everybody here. Think of it like when Sean Hunter decides, hey man, to impress this girl, I'm gonna go to college, right? And he's starting to like college, and he's talking about, writing this paper compared to high school, and he feels like he belongs in college, right? Then he gets the F on the paper, right? Then he shows it to Mr. Feeney, and then he goes, this entire paper is in one sentence. So look at it like this. Triple H's booking is pretty much in one sentence, one long run-on sentence, pretty much. Think of it like that.
Yep, pretty much.
And speaking of pretty much, another thing I have to mention very briefly here. Oh my goodness, since you mentioned Sunday night's main event, Mr. Roy Costin, there was a segment on SmackDown with Trick Williams and Liliati, and they were talking about getting that United States Championship back. Baron Corbin comes out, and he says, hey man, I'm not talking to you right now. I'm talking to you. And he challenged Lil Yachty. Lil Yachty accepts. So at Sunday night's main event, it's Baron Corbin versus Lil Yachty in a 5-minute challenge match. And if he survives the 5 minutes, Trick Williams gets a rematch for the U.S. title. Your thoughts on Baron Corbin versus Lil Yachty?
I hate it. It's the dumbest thing to ever happen in wrestling ever in history. And it's awesome, man. I love this. It's something that has been done forever. A manager figure or a tag team partner or a friend or whatever is there and the person says, yeah, I'll give you a title match, but this person has to last however long in the ring with me. It's a trope that's been around forever. People did not want a Little Yachty concert. They made it very vocal. They did not want a Little Yachty concert at Sunday night's main event because that's what it was going to be originally. Originally, he was going to have like a concert as part of the event. When everybody said, well, we don't want that. We don't want that. Triple H said, fine, I'll put him in a match. And everybody's like, well, we don't want that. We don't want that. Well, make up your mind. He's going to be on the show regardless. He's either in the match or he's having a concert. So take your pick. I'm unironically, I am looking forward to this. Just because the bar is set so high right now for celebrity wrestlers. Or celebrity guest wrestlers, I guess is what you could call it. I'm going to be very intrigued to see how Lil Yachty does in the ring. Which is a sentence I never thought in my life I would say. He's not going to beat Baron Corbin. But what I would like... Alright, you're all about references.
Okay.
I would like for it to be like the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, where Baron Corbin says, I got 5 minutes with you, and then Lil Yachty somehow pulls out a win within the first minute, and then it's like, well, technically you didn't last 5 minutes in there with me. Whoa. So Trick doesn't get his rematch because you didn't last 5 minutes. you pinned me within 2 minutes. So no, he doesn't get this. That would be hilarious. But also that would kind of mess up Baron Corbin's whole aura, is if Lil Yachty just completely out wrestles him, and that would be a burial. If Lil Yachty pinned him within a minute, like, yeah, that's a burial. I do see Trick getting involved. I could see Trick being the reason if Little Yachty did win, but Trick is going to play a big part in making sure that the 5 minutes lasts. You know, I could see it being down to the final few seconds. He's, in the days, he goes for the pin, 1, 2, and then Trick pulls out the referee or something, just to make sure that the count continues or whatever. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. I think people are hating on it just to hate on it. Sorry that it's not, big AJ doing the boom 20 times at Wembley Stadium. I'm sure that would perk everybody else up. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. And that's about all it. Yeah, that's about all I got on that one.
That's all I got to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that.
Well, I look at it like this. First and foremost, this one over here comparing Baron Corbin to Bonesaw McGraw. Oh, yeah, you ain't going nowhere.
I've got you for 3 minutes.
Oh, man. That scene is absolutely classic. Rest in peace, Macho Man. Then he gets stiffed on the pay after that. Oh, my God. But no, that entire thing, I like your little scenario there. Also, I didn't mind it because, like you mentioned, we've done it before. I mean, if you want to really look at it from the last decade, I mean, the Steiner brothers did it in WCW when Scott turned on Rick and Rick got Scott for like 5 to 15 minutes or whatever the hell it was. But look at it like 10 years ago when you had Braun Strowman, when he's away from the Wyatt family. They're building him on Raw as this tough guy in 2016. His first feud was with Sami Zayn, and they did like a 5-minute, 10-minute challenge, whatever it was. And Mick Foley and Stephanie were the GMs, and Mick felt so sorry for poor Sami. So, I mean, it was one of those things. Look at what they did with Braun and Sami 10 years ago.
Well, even going back to, Cornette. Cornette did it on
didn't he do a Baby Doll? Didn't he do like Baby Doll or something like that back in the day?
Something like that, yeah. Oh, excuse me, sorry. There was also Heyman has done it to where, if I can stay in the ring with you for this long, then Brock gets a title shot or whatever. There's been I don't think Jimmy Hart ever did, but Bobby Heenan, he did the same thing. Like all of these people throughout the years have done this. Mm-hmm. So it's nothing new. It's just something for people to try to pick apart and be like, "Oh, I don't like that because it's dumb." It's like, well, if you say it's dumb now, then say it's dumb about it before. This isn't something new. This is just someone new. If you don't like Lil Yachty, that's fine. You don't have to like Lil Yachty. But don't say the segment is dumb just because you don't like Lil Yachty.
I mean, look at it like this. We've had blindfold matches over the past. And I mean, is it to the level of like when Triple H wrestled D'Lo Brown on that Raw Roulette? No, because that was short. It's not to the level of Jake Roberts and Rick Martel. It's not like that god-awful one with James Storm and Wildcat Chris Harris at Lockdown where it's a blindfold match in the cage. Bro, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put him in the cage, and he got the beer bottle right in his eye. We're going to blindfold him in the cage, bro. And it's not to that level. But we also have had Miles Bourne and Lexis King, but that also made sense because of the fact that he was making fun of Miles Bourne for being deaf. So see, you're deaf and you're blind, and it's Lexis King being a complete and utter tool, so that made sense for the story they were trying to tell, and the match wasn't actually that bad, so because of who was involved in it. So I think a lot of people just need to chill because this has been going on for the test of time. Wrestling territories will be here all day. And speaking of wrestling in many different territories and promotions, let's head on over to the AEW prediction side. We covered everything from NXT, Raw, and SmackDown, but now we are on over to AEW. 9 matches have been announced, and as we said, we joked, probably maybe 5 or 6 more, knowing Tony Khan. So the match I figured we start with that actually is kind of has me interested just a bit is the Continental Challenge Cup final for the AEW Continental Championship. It is Jon Moxley or Claudio, depending on who wins tonight, against Kyle O'Reilly or Nigel McGuinness, depending on who wins tonight. Moxley and Kyle O'Reilly have that history. Claudio would be very interesting just because it's Claudio Castagnoli. But if I had to be completely honest, and knowing how much Tony Khan, I'll pay you, loves the overall fantasy booking of these two, and since Nigel McGuinness is in his home city, his home state, his home country, I think Nigel's going to be Kyle, and I think Moxley's going to be Claudio because it kind of reminds me of when they were on Collision, and Moxley was marking out the fact that Nigel was in the Continental Cup. So I think we're going to get the two guys who were trained by Les Thatcher, Heartland Wrestling Association. They both do the Nigel McGuinness rebound lariat, and I think they want something special as far as the marquee goes for Wembley. I'd love to see Nigel win, but there's a part of me that thinks Moxie's going to win. They're going to hug, and Nigel's going to get a big moment in Wembley, even if he is in defeat. So I think it's going to come down to Jon Moxley and Nigel McGuinness, and Moxley's going to retain. Although I would love to see Nigel McGuinness win the Continental Championship. Who you picking, Roy? What scenario say you?
Nigel wins with Oasis playing in the background in Wembley, tears in his eyes. It's a huge moment. And then we're going to have somebody debut and take him out because it's AEW. No,
God.
no, I do think Nigel's going to win it. Somebody did bring up the point of if he wins, does that mean he has to defend the title and everything? Yeah, it does. Nigel wins. They will get Oasis. It'll be in Wembley. It'll be a huge moment. It'll be really cool to see. And it's going to be very heartfelt. That'll be probably one of, if not the moment of the night, is him holding the title with Oasis playing in Wembley.
I think you also do have to take into account to the story of the fact that, he's fighting through the injury and he still wants to compete, and it leads him to this big fulfilled moment. So I do like your shout on that, but either way, it's definitely going to be something for people to check out. I think this one is kind of a foregone conclusion, so I'm going to go with this one next. For the AEW Women's World Tag Team Championship, it is the Divine Dominion, the team of Lena Cross and Megan Bayne, versus the Brawling Buds of Alex Windsor and Jamie Hayter. Divine Dominion are kind of like the female skyscrapers. They've been going through everybody. Has Lena Cross and Megan Bayne. They've beaten the sisters. What is it? Oh God, what the heck was I going to say? The Julia Hart, Sky Blue, and what's her? Sisters of Sin, I think, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Sisters of Sin, thank you. It's one of those things where they've gone through them. They've gone through a lot of people within their women's tag team division, if you will. Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron comes to mind. But I think it's one of those things, too, where you're in the UK. You have a moment for Mrs. Bruv. So I got to go with Alex Windsor and Jamie Hayter, a.k.a. the female bar, a.k.a. the female APA. They've been having them fight like bars and everything, so that's kind of what it makes me feel because, hey, the Brawling Birds, what a name. Who are you going with, the Brawling Birds or Divine Dominion for the AEW Women's World Tag Team Championship?
Brawling Birds, just because of everything you said, but I feel so bad for Megan Bayne, dude.
I like her. She's really good.
Yeah, I feel so bad for her because, she was in if I'm not mistaken, she was in, the main title picture and then got knocked down, and now she's going to go from having, the tag titles to losing them and then being put into purgatory again, probably. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but I'm still going to go Brawling Birds on this one.
I haven't done this in a while, so I got it ready. Okay, so Megan Bayne debuted in AEW, and then she feuded with Thunder Rosa. Then they put her right into the main feud with Toni Storm, and then she lost, never got a rematch. Then she got pushed down to the buy-in, and then now all of a sudden she's in a tag team with Lena Cross. And oh, by the way, we're this badass tag team, and we won the tag titles. Now we're gonna lose. It's literally her career. I mean,
Yeah, pretty much.
she was involved briefly with the revival and all that crap, but I'm just saying, like, her career path and trajectory in AEW is just one of those things where I'm just like, why? You know what I'm saying? The reason why I say why is she is such talent. I've seen this girl wrestle on the indies. I've actually, when I worked for CCW Capital Championship Wrestling doing reviews, I've actually reviewed a lot of her matches. So it's one of those things where you have somebody special like that. And does she need some work? Sure, everybody does to adapt and grow, but she definitely has a lot of potential. And I like Lena Cross. I've seen her work on the indies over in the UK and Australia and everything, but I'm just like, all right, we're going with the female APA, and I don't mind it. But also at the same time, too, you have to understand this tag team, much like a lot of the women's tag teams, kind of came out of nowhere. Like, I'm like, okay, the Brawling Beds, whatever. But yes, to add to your point as I ramble on there, it's the UK, so I see them winning. The next match that I will go to is the Falls Count Anywhere match for the AEW TNT Championship, and you know this is going to be insane in the membrane, to quote Cypress Hill. Kevin Knight defends against Darby Allin. Kevin Knight turned heel on Darby Allin, left Jet Speed, went into the Don Callis family, beat Darby on AEW Dynamite to retain the title in a badass match in its own right, but they're anteing up. Clock that fool, to quote MOP from back in 2000. If my rap days, gangster rap, if you will, I'm a thug like Trick Daddy. I digress. One of the things I've always said about this, you definitely have something. Kevin Knight could definitely be something, but it's the Don Callis family stank, if you will, because everybody's in the Don Callis family. But I think to end this feud, Darby is going to retain, and I should say regain, the TNT Championship. So I'm going to go Darby Allin. Who are you picking?
I'll go Kevin Knight. Mm-hmm. Just because Darby doesn't need to hold the title right now, and Kevin's doing a really good job with it.
I concur.
Even though he's got, like you said, the stink of the Don Callis family, he's still doing a really solid job with holding that title right now. So I want to see him continue the momentum. And before we get into the next match, I figure we'll say what's up, because I see somebody type it in there. Somebody asked if there's any Christian Cage peeps in here, so I figured that might be the next one we talk about.
We're gonna get to Christian. I have my feelings about that. So yes, who's the individual that typed that?
It's the Haye Fan X, the number one peep 1A.
Well, I will say this first and foremost. Thank you for watching. I hope you're doing well on this fine day. And yes, we are going to get to that match. We actually have one I'm going to do before that, so we will be getting to that match next. So yes, thank you, sir. We'll give it a shout out to the peeps. So I will say this. The next match that we will actually go to is, we'll start on a little bit on the surprise factor. It is the Men's Casino Gauntlet match. Andrade El Idolo, how you know, versus MJF versus Tommaso Ciampa, and participants to be announced. I think there's a possibility that we may get Ilya Dragunov in this match. I think we might get as well maybe Santos Escobar, the former Santos Escobar. Possibility maybe Sheamus. I think you're going to see a lot of surprises in this, but since the feud and he lost to Kenny Omega and he's that dastardly heel, I'm going to go with my fellow Long Islander and MJF to win. My other second in contention possibly would be Andrade, because I just wanted to say how you know. So with that being said, I'm going to go MJF. Who you picking?
So which kind of match is this?
So it's the Men's Casino Gauntlet match for a future AEW World Championship.
Is this the one where you have to get thrown over the top rope? Or is this one of the ones where it's whoever gets the first pinfall wins?
I think it's whoever gets the first pinfall wins.
What if we don't get any surprises? What if by person number 5, let's say number 4 is like Speedball. Yeah. Speedball comes out, and then maybe one more person comes out, and it's like, I don't know, Jericho or something. And then MJF just speedball before anybody else comes out. So we only get 5 participants in this match. I don't see why that wouldn't be a thing.
Kind of like a first because it highlights the unpredictability of the match. So I like where you're going with it, but it's Tony. You do understand that he has to get through like 10 to 15 of these people because, So who you picking, man?
I'll go MJF still.
Just for like a safety.
Yeah, just for like the safety of it. But I'm still telling you, man, I'm thinking it's only going to be like 5 people.
All right. Okay. That is a very outside the box but different perspective. I like your stuff. Okay. All right now. So with that being said, to that fan that was watching our fine program, thank you. We will go to the match that you asked. It is going to be Cage and Roy. You want to do it since we're live for this? You ready?
Cope
versus the Young Bucks. A dream match for a lot of people. The fact that this man, that being Christian Cage, told Matt Nick Jackson, "How do you know I'm not your father?" I swear to God, like, oh my goodness gracious, this man is a savage. So for the AEW World Tag Team Championship, it's a different iteration of Edge and Christian than what we saw back in the day over 25 years ago. Well, not really. Yeah, 25 years ago, if you will, from 99 to 2001. So 25 as well as like 27 years ago. But I also look at it from a stance like this. You have this iteration of both guys who were told that they were never going to wrestle again. They're here. They took the long way to get back to here, but we're here. And it's different variations of their characters with Cope as well as Christian Cage. And Christian does have that funny wit about him that still, it's like, dude, you're supposed to be a babyface, but okay. And Edge is just going along with it, that being Cope. The Young Bucks, everybody wanted to see the dream match, so we're getting it. So if I had to pick, I think we're just going to have this stretch out just a little bit more. And I think somehow Cage and Cope are going to retain the AEW World Tag Team Championship against the Young Bucks. So who are you going with, the Buckaroos or Cage and Cope?
Bucks, because Christian and Cope should have not made it this long with the titles, in my opinion. I'm still very much in the favor of War Dogs should be the champions right now. I'm not getting off of that one. Sorry.
No, he's still on that. He's been pushing for the War Dogs so we can get them in the Bang Bang Gang.
Yeah. I think the Bucks are going to end up winning this one, and there's going to be like kind of a cathartic moment afterwards where it's, we had to pin our own mentors, put them out to pasture kind of thing. And then FTR returns and ruins the moment.
And we get FTR and the Young Bucks for the 10 millionth time.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like that's where it's going because we haven't seen nor heard anything from FTR in a while. And having them return in Wembley, it just kind of makes it feel like a larger than life kind of thing. I would say that's where we get a different team debuting, but I'm saving that debut for a different match. Yeah, I think we're going to get about them. Oh yeah, that's true. They, person in chat said, don't forget about Shelly and Sabin.
Ooh, that is another good shout. Shelly and Sabin as well. Motor City Machine Guns, who are now in AEW. Okay.
So that brings me to my other reasoning of why I think Bucks probably win here, because Bucks can go and have these 30-minute matches like Tony likes to do with Motor City Machine Guns, with FTR, with some of these other tag teams that they necessarily haven't wrestled against or haven't wrestled in a while. And if some of the speculation is true about the Bucks, they may be winding down in their careers as well. So there might be a few matches that they want to get done before they retire And what better way to do that than to do it with the titles on the line? You know what I mean?
And I think, much like that individual just mentioned about the Motor City Machine Guns, I mean, I think a lot of us, one of the matches that they really want to see, because it goes back to 2009 and 2010 and their feud in TNA with the Young Bucks as Generation Me against the Guns. I think a lot of people are kind of clamoring for the Young Bucks and the Motor City Machine Guns. I think if you look from the TNA past, a lot of people want to see the Motor City Machine Guns and the Rascals. So you definitely have something there for a lot of people.
Yeah, and like they even said, Christian and Cope haven't faced Shelley and Sabin either. So that could be a good, even if they do lose the titles, that could be a good matchup with Motor City Machine Guns against Christian and Cope to determine like who faces the Bucks down the road or something like that. So there's a lot of interesting people that you could put up against them, but I'm sticking with the Bucks beating Christian and Cope on this.
Speaking of a lot of possibilities, we will now go to the multi-trios match for the AEW World Trios Championship. Hangman Adam Page and Bro Dito versus. So there's a lot of teams that I think are going to be in there. I'm going to say the Shane Taylor Promotions, the Hurt Syndicate. We hurt people. I think they're also going to put maybe the Rascals in there with Myron Reed and Zachary Wentz and Desmond Xavier. I can see the Conglomeration being in there. I think the War Dogs even could be in this. I think there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be in this, the Bang Bang Gang. And I mean, Swerve did tease it, so I think this is where we get a debut of Swerve and his tag team partners, Austin Creed and Kofi. This, for me, it would kind of feel like, remember when the Hardys returned at WrestleMania 33 in 2017, and like they got that big thing when the New Day were seizing, they were the fourth team, and then here came the Hardys. I think they would get a huge pop if they're teaming with Swerve. And there's a part of me that thinks they come in and they win the tag titles, but also at the same time too, Page and Brodito literally just got them. So I kind of see it being a whole thing of maybe Swerve and the New Day, the former New Day, the Daybreak, or whatever they're going to call themselves, win. I also think the Demand may be in this one, Ricochet, and his boys. But I got to ask you, who you thinking in this one?
So is this match just going to be a whoever wants to be in the match come out kind of thing, or is it a gauntlet, or
just multi trios? Is that they put it? Anyone who wants some, come get some.
Okay, cool, man.
That laugh.
I can't think of a better way to have, a very scheduled match than to say, we'll figure it out on the day. Yeah, as much as I don't want Kofi and Woods, or Creed, I guess is what we're going to be calling him. Mm-hmm. As much as I don't want Creed and Kofi with Swerve, just because I don't get it. Like, why are they teaming? Why would they be teaming together?
Why not? Come on. When you think of trios, who's a better trio than the New Day? Come on, man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. Way to sell it, Roy.
No, you're right. Like, there is no better trio than the New Day, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Swerve is not Big E. I don't care how much he's working out or doing whatever he's doing. He's not Big E. So he's not part of the New Day. It'll probably end up being them, but I would actually kind of dig it if this is where we get Sheamus. It's Sheamus, Ilya, and maybe one more person from the UK, and they come in as a trio rather than them coming in as singles competitors. I just don't know who that third person would be.
Ooh, so are you going with, in this match, are you going to stick with Page and Brodito retaining, or are you going with one of the mystery teams?
Oh, yeah, no, one of the mystery teams is definitely beating Page and Brodito, but I'm just not sure who it's going to be that beats them.
Okay. Well,
but I don't see them retaining. No.
Well, we'll go with this one then next. So let's see who retains in this one. A lot of people are very excited for this match. I think they're definitely go out of the way to put on a banger. In a three-way match for the AEW International Championship, Kyle Fletcher versus Konosuke Takeshita versus Kazuchika Okada. A lot of beef going on in here, man. They're also in the Don Callis family. Fletcher and Okada have been kind of see to one-up each other. Same with Takeshita when they were in there. But Takeshita's now on his own. I think Takeshita is awesome. I think right now he's going to be in the chase to finally regain that international championship. With Okada, I think somehow Fletcher's going to pin him, and Takeshita's going to be like, hey, man, you didn't get me. So I think it's going to lead back to Takeshita winning the championship. But I think as of right now, UK, and also the fact that he's kind of been on a tear with the championship, and as a whole, I got to go with the proto star, Kyle Fletcher, to retain over Takeshita and Okada. But definitely is going to be possibly, and maybe will be, a show stealer. Who are you going with, Fletcher, Takeshita, or Okada?
I'm actually going to go with Takeshita because I think they've let Takeshita cool off too much, and this is the thing that they could use to put a fire back under him. Mm-hmm. Plus, it frees up Kyle Fletcher for going for the AEW World title. Which I think might actually happen. You know, he drops the title in Wembley, but then within the next month or so, he's going to start going after the AEW champion. So this will be his chance to move up in the card.
I like that theory, and we'll talk about more when we get into the main event of this fine program. But in our next matchup, we are going to go for the AEW Women's World Championship. Willow Nightingale defends against the CEO, Mercedes Moné. Mercedes Moné in her first match beat Willow for the TBS Championship. They have history from their matches in Japan and in AEW. Willow has beaten her before as well. I got to tell you, man, if you have Mercedes Moné beat her like they did with the TBS title and her first title defense, I'm going to be mad. I think this is a moment for that smiling Wanda from Long Island, New York, a fellow Long Islander doing her thing. Willow just has such an infectious personality, and Mercedes is just Mercedes. So Mercedes is going to Mercedes. Players are going to play. Ballers are going to ball. And I got to tell you, Willow Nightingale is going to retain that AEW Women's World Championship. So I'm going to go with Willow. Would I be shocked if Mercedes wins? No. But I think it's going to be Willow because you also have Mercedes still going for the chase for the championship that she has not won yet. So I will go over to you, Mr. Roy Costin, Willow Nightingale or Mercedes Moné.
This one's hard. Just because I want to see Willow win because Willow deserves everything, man. Like, she's so awesome. Mm-hmm. But this might be Moné, man. Just because maybe everybody's speculation will be true. Moné wins and Willow just needs a hug from somebody.
Yeah, and that hug, if she hasn't resigned, because the rumors are she has resigned, and we get the former Bailey, Davina Rose, out there to be hugged. I know, I see what you're doing there.
I'm so exhausted from all the rumors, and it's ridiculous, man. Looking over at the chat, we got one person that is looking forward to the Brawling Birds.
Okay.
We got another person saying that Fletcher's going to get pinned, but they're just not sure by who. Probably Okada. So they got Okada in that one.
Okay.
And I think that was a follow-up with, is that three-way going to be the best match on the card? And new in the chat, Bill, we'll just say Bill Ohio, maybe? I don't know. They said maybe Kairi Sane debuts after the Willow and Mercedes match.
Who was that? Was that Bill? Is that who you said that individual's name? Bill, yeah, what's up? First of all, Bill, what's up, man? I hope you're having a great day as well. All right, Bill, you know what, Bill? Now you're having me think here. You're letting stuff marinate in my head, Bill. So with Kairi Sane, and they have that history too, I swear to God, this is why when you said Mercedes wins, if they'd have Mercedes win and Kairi Sane comes out to stare her down, much like she did when she debuted in New Japan. Oh, man, there's a moment there, but yeah, now you're putting that into my head.
And the Haya fan said that Mercedes and Willow for best match, not the trios. Which there's a good possibility that Mercedes and Willow will put on the best match of the night.
He does have a great point with what we've seen with Chris Statlander as well, and what she's done with Toni Storm. And you know what? You could hate her. Haters gonna hate when it comes to Mercedes Moné, and I have been one of the haters. But I will say this. You cannot deny her matches that she had. I mean, we just came across the 11-year anniversary of the infamous TakeOver Brooklyn match with Seth Bailey. So, I mean, hey, man, he's not wrong in that front. So, yes.
Yeah, not at all. But what will Dave rate it is the big question. Because I'm still waiting to see what he rates the Maya World match. He still has not rated that match.
Well, because it's Dave, and Meltzer's going to Meltzer. Is he still cleaning the office? Is that what we're doing?
I doubt it.
You want to do it with me first time ever on live, you and I? Ready? Brian. God, he's so annoying. Well, I'll tell you something. When it comes to non-annoyance and as far as matchup quality, is our main event. We've seen them wrestle in Japan. We've seen them wrestle at Forbidden Door in AEW. They had an intense stare down where the Bruv man was talking about COVID, bruv. And then Kenny Omega's like, hey, man, I know about your mom, but what about your boy when I beat you? And maybe he'll have a new hero. Very ice cold from Kenny Omega. To also quote a song that just turned 23 years old. What's cooler than being cool? Ice cold. All right. Outcast. Hey, speaker box. The love below. I digress. I'm a dork, I know. For the AEW World Championship, Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay. You're in London. And you have an opportunity here for the Bruv man who's been literally here for 3 years within this company. And for him to finally win the championship, being someone who was his old rival that has always doubted him and say that he chokes and everything. They built the story there. It's got to be the Bruv man. Will Ospreay, much like Nigel Cries, wins it at Wembley, is the new AEW World Championship. And Roy, I like your theory of Kyle Fletcher being his first feud because the former bros there in the London Empire there. And so, yeah, I'm going to have to go. I said London Empire, excuse me. The United Empire.
Yeah.
I will go with Ospreay wins. Kenny Omega or Will
Ospreay? To steal a line from Deadpool.
Oh, boy.
Heads, Ospreay wins. Tails, Ospreay wins. I don't even have to look because Ospreay's winning this match. If you do not put the title on Ospreay, this goes back to our Chad Gable thing at SummerSlam.
Penta, yeah.
If you do not put the title on Ospreay in Wembley after this feud against Kenny Omega, then it is booking malpractice. Because Ospreay has been one of the hottest commodities in AEW since he's been there. He has put on fantastic matches. Do I like him? No. But that doesn't take away from what he's doing on TV and what he's doing in the ring. This will be the biggest moment of his career. Why would you not put the title on him at Wembley? So, yeah, All in London ends with Ospreay holding up the AEW title. Wembley is going crazy. Fireworks going off. And then we see the AEW logo, and then that's how it ends. If that's not how All In finishes as a pay-per-view, then Tony has completely crapped the bed. Because there is no way you mess up this ending to this pay-per-view.
I will say this. You could also have Jon Moxley lose to Nigel, and oh god, I can also see him going back after Ospreay for after that. And we get Ospreay and Jon Moxley. Yeah, I saw your head shrink down after that. Oh god, if they end this show with Jon Moxley attacking Will Ospreay, I will be like, man, don't do it, Tony. Don't do it, Tony.
There's no reason to do it. Like, why can't we just have it be a nice into the night of Ospreay holding up the title in Wembley? Everybody's going crazy, fireworks going off. You can even have Alex Windsor come in there with her brand new title.
Yeah.
And have them kiss as the camera cuts off. If that's what you really want to do. I don't think you have to do that. But if that's what you want to do, sure, go for it. But there is no... The only thing that would be better for the ending of this would be the Nigel match. Just because Nigel has been doing it for so much longer than Will, and nobody thought that Nigel would get back to this. Having him with the title crying at the end would mean more, in my opinion. But I understand that Ospreay is the attraction in AEW. Therefore, he should be main eventing because it's for the AEW title. So, yeah, if Ospreay doesn't end the night as champion, then I don't know what they're doing at AEW.
Well, bruv, that is our predictions for AEW All in London. The Takedown Pod will be back reviewing and discussing and recapping and really just overall giving our thoughts and analysis on the aftermath of AEW All in London, NXT Heatwave, even maybe the AAA show, which will start at noon. So for those who are on the East Coast, much like Roy and I, you saw it? And if you want to see some good stuff, you get to see 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I believe it's on YouTube, the AAA show. You also get 3 p.m. on the CW, NXT Heatwave. You also have AEW All in London. I believe starts at 1 p.m. our time. Since the UK over there, it'll be like 6? I think 6 o'clock.
Something like that. There's no telling what it is, just because there's also going to be the buy-in.
The buy-in, yeah.
So I don't know exactly what time it all is supposed to start.
But it will be there, and we'll give you our thoughts anyway. But yeah, 3 shows in one day. It's a lot of wrestling, folks. So we'll be back next week to discuss it. Then after all of this is done, before we even get to Sunday night's main event, if you guys have not checked it out, Roy and I are actually going to be going back into our deep dive and deep watch and analysis of Wrestling Society X, the only 10 episodes that they did on MTV. Roy and I are up to episode 4, so we are almost halfway through the show. It's been a great 3 episodes thus far to really reminisce back to 2006, 2007. So won't you guys come along with us and listen to those shows, because it's a hell of a time and it's definitely very obscure. And it definitely does have a great appeal to what we would see going forward to where we are now in 2026. So definitely go out of your way and listen to that. And if you're not already listening, you can check out the audio format of this as I froze like a Men in Black track. And I think you know where I'm going with this, man. There's a reference. I froze briefly. It happens. Internet happens. But I was like freezing. And let me see you just bounce with me. Just bounce with me. Here come the Men in Black. No, here comes the Takedown Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. So go to WFJAFM.com/podcast. Listen to the audio form, and we in there like swimwear. So Roy, with that being said, you do the amazing thumbnails. Please promote our socials for everybody to check on out and do it right.
All right, we got our TikTok, we've got Facebook, we've got Twitter, we've got YouTube, Instagram, Spotify. Believe that's all I can think of right now. And we're either the Takedown Podcast, Takedown Pod on all of those, and links should be in the description. We've got a link tree that takes you to all of the places that we're at. We're, like you said a minute ago, we're also on WFJAFM.com/podcasts. So you could check us out there.
I'm slashing.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm slashing over here, man. I'm slashing.
But yeah, we've got on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, we try to drop at least one vertical video a day. So just to kind of keep up with everybody, being that we drop one episode per week. So that'll help you keep up with what's going on and everything like that. But other than that, man, yeah, that's pretty much it. What about you? What you got going on?
Let me go into my ish, and that's right, I said ish. So if you want to check out the S&M Network show, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You get the Steve and Mike show with myself and Steve Nicoforo. You also get the Pop Culture History podcast. You get the Takedown Pod. You also get On the Mic with Mike. You get Deep into the Heart of Wrestling with myself, Robert Davis, and Nicola MacDonald. You also get the RWT podcast with myself, Paul Morales, and Daniel Crimmins. And you get the LFC podcast and so much more. If you want to check out the Lingerie Fighting Championships podcast, go to lfcfights.com and the VIP section and the LFC Network, which is now on Roku. You can also follow me on Twitter, SM1 or MCL92, Larkin_92 and MLarkinMB on the Instagram front. Go to SteveandMikeShow.com, go to LFCfights.com, and of course, go to WFJAFM.com/podcast. We slashing like Zorro up in here. I'm slashing. So with that being said, we hope you enjoy this first edition, live edition, if you will, of the Takedown podcast. For Roy Costin, my name is Mike Larson. I don't even know what the hell my name is anymore. My name is Mike Larkin, and we will see y'all next week on the next edition of the Takedown podcast. I'm tongue-tied. I don't know what I'm doing. All this weekend of wrestling is getting to me, but I hope each and every one of you enjoy this weekend of wrestling. And with that being said, I only got one thing to say. And you know what that one thing to say is, Mr. Roy Costin?
What's that?
Bruv, mate, I thought it was they were cutting a promo or something, bruv.